Good evening. On behalf of the Alumni Committee, I wanted to welcome you to our first ever virtual alumni event. My name is Dave Drabert. I live in Sherwood Park, Alberta, with my wife Adrienne and 3 children. I've had the privilege of working on the Hockey Alumni Committee for the last 3 years. I had the opportunity to play for the Clippers from 1996 to 1999, and the Lord used this time to soften my hard heart and to draw me back to Himself. He continues to mold and shape me every day, for which I am extremely grateful. Each one of us as alumni has a unique story, and the hockey program at Briercrest is a part of this. For you, Clipper hockey may be a story of perseverance, for some, a story of victory, and for others, it may be a story of frustration. But no matter what your story was, the Lord promises to use all things for the good of those that love Him and are called according to His purpose. The hockey program at Briercrest made some really big strides over the last 3 years. I'm here to remind everyone that the Lord continues to work through this school and our hockey program to change lives. This is why I am extremely excited to talk to you today. The alumni has always had a positive impact on the hockey program. We are very grateful for the contribution hockey alumni have made over the years. So to all those that have contributed their time, their prayers, and their resources, we wanted to say thank you. Now, with that said, I wanted to update everyone on the current vision of the hockey alumni, the impact that you have made on the players, and the progress you have made in building trust with the athletic department and Briercrest College. In many ways, we believe the strength of the hockey program is only as strong as its alumni. Our committee has been in existence for 3 years now. We currently have 9 alumni on our committee, and we meet approximately every 6 weeks over Zoom. I'm a big fan of every one of our committee members. Their commitment to the alumni and the program stems from a belief that the Lord will use alumni to make a difference far greater than we could ever imagine. Why do we exist? Well, we exist to connect and influence all generations of Briercrest hockey. So why is this important, to connect and to influence? Well, our reason is found in Hebrews 10:24. It says, "And let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds." Briercrest Clipper hockey alumni values that we strive to operate by are number 1, sustainability, number 2, engagement, number 3, excellence, and number 4, passion. Tonight, you will hear many ways that alumni are impacting this program and our world for Christ. I wanted to focus on a couple key areas that alumni has increased its influence over this year. Number 1 is recruitment of young men that would benefit from our program. Kendall Enns has been with our committee for about 1 year and is working with our coaching staff and other alumni to improve recruitment and the scouting program for this program. This has just begun and is making an immediate impact. We are excited to get more alumni involved in this. The second area we are so excited about is the mentorship program that has started. Mentorship is a powerful tool that causes the people involved to really slow down and invest into another human being. See, our world moves at such a fast pace, and there are so many young men needing guidance, direction, and a listening ear. When an alumni chooses to invest in a player, the impact lasts not just for the time they meet, but they take it into their future families, occupations, communities. The impact truly lasts for generations. The third area is building trust with the athletic department and school is one of the areas we have seen the greatest growth this year. Each year, the hockey alumni reach is expanding, and this has given us a chance to be involved in integrating a new operational structure within the athletic department. This system promotes a high level of personal and professional accountability while moving into the future with purpose and passion. This will make a huge impact in the athletic department moving forward, which positively affects every sports program at Briercrest. The areas I just talked about, and many others I don't have time to mention, are areas of opportunity and influence. You are invited to join us in any of these ways, and we would like to hear if you have any unique ideas of influence that we could grow into. We would love to have you involved. Like our purpose states, the reason we are connecting all generations of Clipper hockey is to encourage one another towards love and good deeds. God has called each one of us to walk a certain path, which has all kinds of areas of influence. Our alumni has teachers, pastors, politicians, businessmen, farmers, carpenters, coaches, and the list could go on and on. I want to encourage you as we meet together tonight with old teammates and friends to listen to the areas of influence that we hold. Our hope is that this will encourage you to maximize your own influence in your family, your work, your community, and your church. The Lord promises that we can bear fruit that lasts when we are connected and growing in Him. We have 600 plus hockey alumni and growing. It's not even possible to imagine the impact that we can have on our world together. Have a great evening, reliving memories and encouraging each other to keep fighting the fight and running the race Christ has called you to. This is our prayer for you as hockey alumni.
Hello friends, hockey alumni. Welcome to this virtual update. Great to have you connecting with us today. Michael Pawelke here, and I'd be delighted to give you a little bit of an update on what's been going on here at Briercrest before you hear from Stan and Brad and Matt with a bit of an update on hockey. So let me just tell you, we've had an incredible year. Really, we have. Even with all the restrictions, even with the impact of the pandemic that's been on all of us, we've had just a wonderful year. Of course, we've had in-person education for both the high school and the college. Seminary, of course, has been online. But even with all the restrictions, we've had a good sense of morale. We've had all kinds of relationship building and discipleship continue to take place. And we've also been able to do some skill development on our athletic teams as well. Some of our special events sort of changed, but Youthquake, although we had to rethink how we did Youthquake, we had an incredible year with our YQ at home, some 4,600 participants involved. And so with all the challenges we've had, we've nevertheless had a good year. So I want to thank you. Thank you for engaging with us. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your support. And now as you hear from Stan and Brad and Matt, I hope what you hear will encourage you. Thanks for your partnership. Continue with us, we pray. All the best.
We want to begin by welcoming all of our alumni who are joining us this evening, and just want to say thank you to all of you for joining us. And I speak for Matt and myself when we can confidently say that you guys have greatly blessed us, and that's from a personal level, investing into our lives as people and obviously into our program as well. Lots of you know our current athletic director, Stan Peters. Maybe Stan, could you share a little bit about your heart for the hockey program and what the vision for Briercrest Athletics is?
Thanks, Brad. I'll start with the role of athletics, or the vision for athletics at Briercrest. And over this past year, we've spent quite a bit of time as a department taking a look at our core values and vision. And within that, the key for us is helping our student athletes develop identity-based habits. And a fellow by the name of James Clear wrote a book called Atomic Habits, and he identified 3 areas that people have to focus on in order to develop habits. You start with outcomes. You can start with outcomes, process, and then working towards identity. And the issue, sadly, in the hockey community, as in many sports communities, that when you actually focus on outcomes first, develop the process, hoping that your identity is going to come out of your achievements, there's a lot of problems that have come through this, either depression, sadly suicide, and other health issues that come out of focusing on performance being the core of who I am. And what we're trying to do at Briercrest is we're actually trying to reverse that. And we're trying to help our student athletes focus on their identity first. So who am I as a person? And within the athletic department, what we've done is we've identified 5 core values that we want to focus on. Kingdom-minded. So number 1, we want to help our student athletes grow in their relationship with Jesus, understand who they are in Christ. From there, we want to help our student athletes develop into servant-hearted people. So people who think of themselves less, not think less of themselves, but just think of themselves less often. And with that, then start to look at how they can serve their team, their dorm, their community, and start to look outside of themselves. Third, we want to help people become learners. People who see obstacles and challenges as opportunities to learn and grow. Fourth, we need competitors. We need student athletes who have a love for the game and a love for competing and a joy in that. Eric Liddell in the movie Chariots of Fire talked about, when I run, I feel God's pleasure. And that's what we're after as far as competitor. And fifthly, disciplined. Having the ability to develop the discipline in order to form the habits that are going to be necessary to achieve the outcome. So what we want to do is we want to start with identity, and then we move to outcome. And when we talk about outcomes in Briercrest Athletics, we're focusing on transforming lives towards their God-intended purpose. So ultimately, if we're not doing that, we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing here in Briercrest Athletics. Within that, we want to use the pursuit of athletic championships in our unique Briercrest training ground to grow disciples of Jesus, form transformational leaders of character, inspire graduates, and develop skills for sport and life. So within that, we want to use our pursuit of championships. We don't want to use student athletes to get championships. We actually want to use the pursuit of championships in order to develop these qualities within our student athletes. And the key with this is the process. The process is what connects the identity to the outcome. And in the process, what we want to do is we want to focus on our controllables. So we want to develop the healthy and productive routines and habits that we need to develop in order to link those things. And the absolute key, the critical link to this is our coaches. So within hockey, the role that Brad and Matt play in this is absolutely critical, because if we don't have coaches who are working on solidifying their identity in Christ, how can we actually help our student athletes? If we don't have coaches who are helping our athletes transform their lives towards their God-intended purpose, if we don't have coaches doing that, how can we expect athletes to do that? And so the coaches play a critical role in this. And this is what, so when we take this from the overall athletic department and we move it into hockey, I mean, this is our heart, and this is why our coaching staff is so important and is the critical link. And within that, it's our alumni. And what we're so thankful for is the support that we've received from our alumni in order for our coaches, giving resources and time and talent in order for our coaches to be able to work with our student athletes to achieve our outcomes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really good. And it's exciting for us as coaches is when Matt and I go through what do we want Briercrest hockey players to look like in year one and when they graduate. It aligns so nicely with what we're doing on a department level, and so the unity brings us a lot of joy and excitement in it. Yeah, when we think about this season as a coaching staff, there's so many unknowns, and we've really tried to challenge our guys. How can we be growing individually, and how can we grow our program? How can we move those two things forward? And so on the personal side, Matt and I take a lot of pride in the amount of time we invest every day into their lives and diligently going through. Matt's going to hit these guys this week, I'm going to hit these guys, and encouraging them, challenging them, coming alongside them. So we're investing into their lives that way. Other things we've done this season, had various people speak to our team because we have more downtime. So we had Derek Ryan from the Calgary Flames, Bowen Byram from the Colorado Avalanche. We had Ryan Walters speak to our team on the mental side of the game. We've had two different topics on nutrition come in, two financial conversations that we've had. So we've really tried to push the guys on that area in personal development. And then obviously one of our own alumni, Wes Olmstead, has led us in our chapels, which for those of you that know Wes, it's just a blessing and really an honor to be able to sit in, even if it's 30 minutes every 2 weeks. He has richly blessed us with that time and is so willing to serve our team in that capacity. So as far as moving our program forward, we wanted to come out of this season and look back and say, okay, we did this, or we had these initiatives that we did. And so some of those, we had a cold tub that was made up for our locker room. So the guys are utilizing that after workouts and skates. More recently, the guys put their hand to building a sauna. We've purchased a Normatec, which if you follow the NHL or any professional sports leagues, all those teams are using those in recovery. We worked out a deal with Supplement King where our athletes can actually get supplements at around 30% cost. And so we've kind of hit the recovery and nutritional side of things because we believe that as we move forward, we're demanding a lot out of our student athletes, and a lot of blessings on the calf food, but it's probably not what we're desiring to put into our bodies as athletes, right? And especially as we prepare them for some of these guys have aspirations to play pro hockey, we want to give them every opportunity to do that. So on the hockey side of things, we started using a program called Instat, which is helps us on the analytics side, but also on the scouting side. It's been an incredible tool where we can punch in basically anyone's name. It's pulling up their latest game, their latest shifts, their scoring opportunities, all these things. So all those things are directly related to you guys pouring into our program. And on the financial side, it's allowed us freedom to really push this program forward on a professional level. Matt Mello has been here for the last 2 years along with myself. Matt, you bring a ton of experience to the program. He played here as a player, and then spending hours working on the grassroots side of the game alongside Hockey Canada, then that leading into an opportunity to coach at the junior hockey level. What would you say over the past 8 months, being in this non-typical hockey season, what have you been most passionate about? What's blessed you? What are some highlights for you?
Yeah, well, just for starters, the past 2 years working alongside Brad and also under his leadership has just been so cool. And under that leadership, I think Brad's been really transparent and firm in what our vision is as a hockey program, why we're here as coaches. And that's obviously to sow into guys spiritually. And so I think maybe the coolest part for me in this season has been the opportunity just to deepen what we're all about as a program and to really be intentional about going through how can we be diligent and responsible in how we're sowing into these guys spiritually and as men who are going to leave this program and go on to different areas, leading a family and their wives, but also in their workplaces and in their churches. So in a season where we're not focusing on wins, losses, records, practice planning, scouting reports, it's been really cool to just get to think through how we can really be creative and also responsible in how we're sowing into these guys with the time that we have with them. Brad and I always talk about our favorite part in being here is relationship. And so during this time, obviously COVID's impacted some of the things we've been able to do in terms of having guys over for dinner or doing Bible studies, things along those lines. But we have really been able to invest in guys one-on-one with a lot more time. So having them in for player meetings, going for coffees and things of that nature, I think that's really been a value to us this year, and it brings us energy in this role. And then I would just say, speak to the opportunities that Brad mentioned. The guest speakers we've had in, it's been incredible to get to hear about their stories and to see the response from our guys. And so that's been a huge blessing and a real joy that we've got to walk through with our guys this year.
Yeah, and I think in a season like this, there's a temptation maybe for frustration because you're not playing games, you're not on the ice, but we're just concluding our year-end meetings, one-on-one meetings. It's so amazing to see what the Lord continues to do, and I would say has incredibly blessed us in this season. When you think of guys coming from broken homes and to hear them so genuinely speak about how the Lord has touched their heart while they've been here at Briercrest. It's always so encouraging for me to look back and reflect on that year and just see the Lord's working here. COVID or no COVID, He's moving mightily, and we're humbled to be a part of all that. Matt, maybe just speak a little bit on how recruiting's going for this upcoming season and where we're at with that.
Yeah. So, we hesitate to say this a little bit, but for our program, I think we would agree that COVID's actually been a blessing recruitment-wise, where we're seeing there's a bit of a logjam effect. Fifth-year players aren't graduating out of U Sport or out of the ACAC. 20-year-olds are aging out of junior hockey, and so we're seeing that logjam. We're having conversations with guys this year that in a typical year with where our program's at record-wise, they really haven't given us the time of day. And Brad and I will always speak to, when we get an opportunity to get to just have conversation with guys, we're finding that when they hear our heart for our players, they hear what the Lord's doing here and the opportunity they have to explore a relationship with Jesus, they hear about our culture, the tight-knit community, they want to be a part of that. And so this year's been really cool to just get to have those conversations. As that started to happen, our roster's really taking on a cool shape, with most of it being junior A players that we're starting to shape out our roster with. There's some major junior players that are starting to commit to our program. And so at this point, I think we're basically looking for maybe a top 6 forward and another defenseman. But of course, you're always looking to add if the right guy comes along. But on top of that, it would be, we're not just adding guys with high skill level. We actually have the opportunity to be a little bit picky in terms of, is this guy a guy who's going to fit into our culture and help to drive it forward? And so that's just been a really cool opportunity and a blessing that COVID's actually brought about this year.
Yeah, it's been an encouraging recruiting season. We look to go into this season with potentially 3 guys with major junior experience on our roster. So to bring those guys in that kind of, they played at that highest level in their age group, brings another level of professionalism. It pushes the pace and pushes the envelope, and it makes everybody better, including us as coaches in that capacity. So, and I would agree with you when you think about, call it a blessing of COVID, but when you look at the opportunity our guys have had here, basically up until Christmas time, we were able to practice together as a team. All our guys are on campus, we're in class, and then even after Christmas, us as coaches haven't been able to go on the ice, but our guys have been on the ice doing skill development. They're in the gym 5 days a week and they're on the ice 5 days a week. So as in anything in life, what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. And so I believe that we'll look back on this season and there will be a plenty of fruit on skill development side of things as well. Another initiative that we've started in conjunction with the Alumni Committee is a mentorship program. And so there's about 6 or 7 of our players that are involved with 6 or 7 of the alumni. And that's just bared a ton of fruit. And our players have been really excited about it. And so we want to say thank you to the alumni that have committed to that, because I know that it's been a pretty big commitment. Time-wise, I know it's a little bit different for everyone, but roughly every 2 weeks or once a month, the guys are investing an hour or 2 at a time. So we want to say thank you for investing into our guys' lives. But we also present this as an opportunity that moving forward, ideally, we would have 24 guys on our team that are paired up with 24 alumni, and that there's intentional discipleship going on continually. And so I guess on that point, I would really like to thank Chad Davidson, who's a new alumni, but he's really stepped into a leadership role and kind of steered that. And so we want to say thanks to Chad in that. And as we build that, I guess this would be something that's on my heart. I think in our society, we're seeing a lack of godly men, and we see that in recruiting. So as our alumni are in business positions, I think it'd be neat if we can be placing people in Vancouver, Winnipeg, Toronto, across Canada, and not just giving them summer employment, but actually looking at it like, okay, we're going to invest in this guy's life, and we're going to train him up to be a leader alongside Matt and I and the athletics department here. But ultimately, we're going to invest in his life so that he can be a business owner and lead in the business world and have an impact for the kingdom of God on that realm. And so as we move forward, that would be something that I'm passionate about seeing come to fruition. Maybe Matt, take a minute to just share with the alumni on one of the initiatives we've been working on over the past season.
Yeah, so during this season, just with the timing, there's been the opportunity to just work through a few different initiatives, one of those being a Junior B initiative, adding a Junior B team to this program, and I guess within the athletic department. Yeah, so what we've been finding as a coaching staff is that each year we have 8 to 10, I guess, individuals who are interested in playing for our college team, and maybe they're not quite at the level that we would need them to be at to play in the ACAC, but they're incredible culture fits, and they're guys that we would love to have be at the school and have the opportunity to sow into. So we started to think about the impact that we could continue to make if we were to recruit another team here, and it looks like there'd be, without even recruiting, there's lots of potential in that. So yeah, that's something we've been exploring this year, and what it would look like to add that team to our program. And so within that, we would just covet your prayers and finding favor with the school and adding that program, but also just wisdom in the best model financially to go about adding that program as well. So yeah, just be praying for us in those areas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the other thing we is really on our heart to do would be to take our team to Europe and do a mission trip over there. And for me personally, I was there, spent 5 or 6 years over there, and have some connections. So obviously we would try to connect with some churches there and get in on the ground and serve in any capacity we can. I think it's an incredible cultural experience for our players to go over and have that opportunity. And lastly, we believe as a coaching staff that we have a few players that have the ability to actually play in some of those leagues, but need to get the exposure to do that. And so there's kind of a threefold heart in going there, I would say, and so it's something that we will look to do through COVID. Might get delayed, but definitely we want to pursue that option. We just want to say thank you. Obviously the financial side is one thing. You guys have blessed us. You have sown into our program, and so it's allowed us to really run with that. But we look back to the alumni weekend last year, and we spoke about this with Coffee and CB that we did with the school not long ago. That weekend was so fruitful for us as coaches, and it blessed us so much to know that there's a group of people behind us that care about Matt and I as individuals, but also are invested in the program, for praying for our guys, sowing into their lives financially, sowing into their lives time-wise. It is so neat for us to be a part of that, and it really is a humbling experience to think that the Lord has put us here. And also thank you to the alumni that have encouraged us with emails or phone calls or texts, and investing into our personal lives as well. So thank you for joining us tonight. Stan, thanks for joining us, and we look forward to doing this in person next year. We'll just take a second now to hear from one of our current players, Caleb Granfeld. Caleb's on our leadership team. He came in as a first-year player last year and had an impact on our hockey program here, and he's just been a strong leader for our program. So we'll just take a second to hear from Caleb on his experience here at Briercrest.
Hi, I'm Caleb Granfield, and I'd just like to open by thanking you guys, the Alumni Association, for supporting our team throughout the years. We've been able to upgrade our facilities immensely just in this last year, and that's all thanks to you guys with your financial support. So my experience at Briercrest has been pretty unique. I actually came here with 2 years of junior left. It wasn't my plan. Long story short, I was playing junior, and I ended up getting cut from Nipawin, and I didn't have anywhere to go. I was looking for doors to open, and there was nothing. And I thought the Briercrest would be a good backup option if all else failed. And if I'm being honest, I thought that the league was, overrated, or just kind of like a glorified men's league where guys who didn't want to put the skates away kept on playing even while they were taking classes. And I couldn't have been more wrong. It's an amazing league. And when I got here, we were playing the team that ended up finishing last in our league. And it was the best team I'd ever played against, which is pretty remarkable coming from a respected league of Junior A with the SJHL. But yeah, since I've come here, our team has been pretty cool. It's a different culture than what most hockey cultures are like, I would say. Most hockey cultures are it's a dog-eat-dog world, and everybody's willing to stab somebody else in the back to get a spot, just because everybody loves each other. We are focused on serving Jesus first and bringing honor and glory to God's name in and through the sport of hockey. So we're able to run FICAs, and the FICA is where we bring another team, the team that we play Friday night. We bring them and we have them, we feed them with a meal, and we just share the gospel with them. And we just enjoy a little bit of time of fellowship with them, get to know them a little bit, and we just hope that we're planting seeds for the future for them. It's been pretty cool for me because I've been able to come into an atmosphere where I can grow in my faith. I grew up in a Christian home. My dad and my uncles played hockey, and high-level hockey also. And I've been able to come here and get to experience an atmosphere where it's not, you can wear your faith on your sleeve a little bit easier and learn what that means and what it means to do that, which is pretty cool. And I've been able to be under coaches that truly care for me and love me, both as a hockey player, where they're looking to make me better every day on the ice, but also off the ice, where they're really focused on teaching me how to walk in integrity and walk my faith out. And that's something that I've never experienced before. So being a leader on the team, I've learned that my leadership style is one of service. I want my actions to speak louder than my words. And that comes from years ago. I was listening to an HMI podcast or some seminar. I don't remember what it was exactly, but it was Shane Doan, and he was talking about how Jesus came and led. And he said that Jesus came to serve, not to be served. So as a leader on the team, I feel like it's a call to service where, it's my job to make sure that everybody else's job is easier. And hopefully through that, people join me in a united goal of, being successful on the ice and winning a championship, making playoffs. So my style is, really looking to lead and do something before I have to say it, if that makes sense. And a big key of this is for me to be walking in integrity, where my yes is yes and my no is no. When I say something, I mean it. And I also want to be in a situation where, say I call somebody out for doing something, or I want to call them up. I want to do it with a way where it's seasoned with grace, but I'm also above reproach, where if they were to come at me and try to attack me for something that I'm doing, I can say, listen, this is what I'm doing and this is why. And I don't want to be a hypocrite in that. I want to make sure that I'm genuine and that I'm authentic. So our future goal here at Briercrest is to compete for championships and to put on the ice a competitive hockey team that can win any given night. Personally, for my future goals, I want to play pro hockey at some point later, when I'm done here at Briercrest. Whether that's in Europe or North America, I don't know. I've often thought that Norway would be a pretty cool place to play. After I'm done hockey, because we all know that eventually that will end, I want to go back and farm. And I want to have my own family and be able to raise them on a farm and really teach them important life lessons that I learned, about hard work and discipline, dedication, just those types of things that a kid learns on a farm. And that was my upbringing, and I'd love to pass that on to maybe my kids someday. The other thing that I'd like to do is I'd like to do some sort of ministry work. I'm not sure what that's going to look like, whether that's through hockey, which I have a passion for, whether that's working with kids or young men, I'm not really sure yet, but it's just something that God's kind of been placing on my heart recently, so it's something that I'd like to look into and look forward to. I'd like to thank the Alumni Association again just for supporting our team. You guys are awesome. We can afford to have really nice facilities because you guys are the ones that help fund it. And without you guys, we really couldn't have the program that we have today. So I'd just love to thank you guys again for that.